Good morning. Let's see, is this even here? I think that's about good. Good morning, everybody. December 10th. Happy Wednesday to you. I hope you're doing well. My 24 chocolate days till Christmas that I'm doing here with Cheryl keeps going. We're going to open up number 10 today. This is some pretty exciting stuff. With tax, this almost cost $3, so I'm expecting good things. Hey, girl, the Bilfster. Good morning. Hello, David. Hi, Marcy. Okay, let's look for, where's number 10 here? Here we go. Ooh. Okay. We're getting somewhere now. That's not bad. That's, I think, the best one we got so far. All right, we're moving up. Not too shabby. Okay. I'm used to these though, like where when you get closer to Christmas Eve, like don't they get bigger? Or am I thought that's how, it's been a while since I did these. But these are all the same size. Or at least the square they're in is the same size. Maybe the imprints, no, I don't know. We'll see. It's getting exciting though, you gotta admit. Okay. You're like, I don't have to admit anything. Okay. Coffee time. Right, eh, girl? But I guess when you're under $3, they stay the same. I'm just proud that there's actually chocolate in these. I mean, I thought it was going to be like Carnauba wax or something, you know? Not that I'm going to eat any of them, but they're all going on the house. I think they're going to have to be, we're going to have to sort of glue them onto the roof because 3/4 of the roof has no decoration, so we could put that on there. Because there's really, I've put it around the house now, there's really no place to put these things. Flying Santa is better than a roller skate. Oh, wow. One with cat toys. I've never seen that. That's amazing. Jersey Jan, good morning. I never even heard of do they have those at Petco? Where I want one of those for my cats. And they want me to have one. Rennie in the house. On the 5th day of Christmas, the true sign gave to me 5 atoms. Punning? What? Punning? 4 carts of rolling. Me again. All right, getting ready for work. I'm guessing me again is a roulette dealer. Oh, you found it at PetSmart. I don't even think there's PetSmarts out here. All I see is Petco's. Kanani, so good to see you. Good morning. So close. Craps. Ooh, 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 ooh. I know. You're a shift boss. Haha. Oh, I've never seen that grocery store. We have Smith's and Albertsons and Whole Foods and Aldi's. PBG, Phoenix Book Girl. So good to see you. Thank you for being here. Oh my God, bubbles that are safe for dogs and cats. That's so funny. Oh, blackjack. Damn it. Why didn't I guess that? Um, I always thought that would be fun. Like, I would love to be a dealer at a busy table. I think the part of being a dealer that would kill me is, if I had to sit there for 3 hours and no one came by, I'd just be like, I mean, I don't know how you guys deserve six-tuple pay when there's no one there. I mean, because wow. But if it was going, I think it'd be fun as hell. I always thought it'd be fun to deal poker, just to see people, just to see the juxtaposition of people. But I think it would also be a little nasty because you'd see so many people just getting wrecked in here and all that. I don't know. Um, right, Marcy? It's just like I've walked by those dealers and they're just like, oh, please, God, someone show up, something to do. At least if there's no one there and you're at a craps table, you got people to talk to. Oh, yeah, laser chase for the dogs. Hello, Cheryl. My baby is here. I love Cheryl. Rennie, my dogs love a good laser chase. Yeah. I love the new song, Bill, 4 carts, so rolling. Trust me, we like to hang out and do nothing. That's so funny. It would make sense that I would have it completely wrong. That's hysterical. That's so funny. Now Marcy and I don't feel bad. Oh. Um, so anyway, um, there's I wanted to tackle another subject um, that was one of the absolute main reasons I just could not get myself to believe that Scientology was the way, let alone even right. Like, and it was almost, in some ways, it was an actual war for my sanity. Because in retrospect, I think that's sort of what was at stake. And in Scientology, you become able to overlook an enormous amount of nonsense, absolute BS. Okay, and um, you get good at that. Okay, but because you get used to throwing stuff and compartmentalizing stuff and whatever, just throwing it out of your way so you can keep going, and so you have enough energy to fight the ones you're gonna have to fight, which is what one of the ones coming up here. So uh, it's when you have any kind of disability, okay, in Scientology, any kind of medical condition, whether you were born with it or developed it, soon thereafter, whatever. Uh, it's um, it's absolutely disgusting, and I tried so hard because keep in mind you're trying to believe things and you're trying to make sense of things so that you can supposedly help people. So you're really trying to make things work in your head. right? I wasn't fighting the stuff. I was trying to make it work. It just wouldn't take. Okay. And again, I keep saying, while some things were 100 times worse being a child, I really believe being a child in a couple different ways saved me from going over the edge, you know? Um, so it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. Um, um, but Scientology believes that, you know, if someone is born with a disability, the being in that body specifically caused that body to be born disabled, and in that lifetime, the being would have. There, you're trying to make you're trying to make yourself. You're trying to make it harder for yourself to keep doing bad things. That's why you would choose a body that's going to be born with a disability. Okay. Sir Elston Good, good morning, my friend. Thank you for being here. A made man around these parts. Um, and that's the idea, right? So it's going to be harder for you to commit harmful acts because, you know, of your disability. And again, when you're a child, like you don't have any experience in a lot of things, so certain things, so a lot of things are sort of okay because you just haven't gone through them yet. So you just go, okay, whatever, you know. But then as soon as you're up against that, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I couldn't make it work. Um, you know, so that's, and again, there's no sympathy because that's irrational, right? This person is literally making sure they can't continue doing what they were doing to harm other people, and that's why they pulled this in or mocked that up. Um, or at the very, very least, they're horribly PTS. Okay, so they're connected to a suppressive person. So no matter what, you're supposed to be like this, basically, right? And to me, the whole idea of like being in a church, like just the idea of a church always made me think of giving water or soup to somebody. I don't know why. Maybe I saw a bunch of movies when I was a kid. I don't know. But that was the idea I had, like a church. Like if you're on your last leg, it doesn't matter who God really is. There's going to be one of his disciples or her disciples, whatever the hell, is going to give you some water. You know, it's going to give you some soup. You know, maybe some shelter, you know, maybe some guidance. You know, Scientology just kicks your ass down the street and says you're worthless. We're here to help the able, make the able more able. But then when you saw Miscavige himself didn't even know what to say to Ted Koppel, he's like, I'm able AF. What are you going to do to help me? He's just like, I don't know. You know, so it's just a whole big BS thing, right? But back when I went back to school, I went to a supposedly a school that used LRH Tech and was basically okayed by the church. And turns out, you know, I mean, a lot of celebrities, kids went there, you know, a lot of them. And but it wasn't Scientology at all. I was the highest trained person that ever been on that campus, including the principal. Then none of them had any clue about anything. And I was like, what the, you know, but you could sort of go at your own pace because they had like check sheets. So it was all squirrely, mixed squirrely, whatever. Anyway, I needed desperately to have people my age around me because I was freaking out. You know, I went through 4 years of, you know, I think my youngest friend was like 42, you know, and I just couldn't take it. So, and I wanted to play football and stuff, and you know, so I would just go to class, you know, Scientology at night and on the weekend. So I went to school, back to school, and I was quarterback. I was on the honor roll. You know, I was an honor student. I mean, I had as much pull as a kid could have. You know, at that place. And as a kid my age could have. And there was another kid who was really smart. He was part of, honor student, and he had epilepsy. And the full body one, the convulsions were, not just on one side. It was just, he would just go, and he'd only have just a second, and he was lucky to have that, because a lot of people don't. They'll just collapse. But he'd have a full 3/4 of a second to just hit the ground, and then he would just start going, and people would give him a berth. Oh my God, right? Like he was just emitting Ebola virus or something. And and I just thought it was like, but kids are horrible anyway, but it just seems so incredibly gross to me, and like I said, you can't help sympathy. Sympathy is something that just comes up. Empathy just comes up. You don't go, boy, I wish I had some. It's just there, right? Until you put it away. And so instantly I'm just like, oh, shit, this kid, he's got it rough, right? And so as the months roll by, we become friends. Okay, he was really hard to, like he wasn't a overt, hey, how you doing, type of guy. He was very, very shelled up, and so it took a little while, and we became friends. And my father, who was just a monstrous piece of garbage, the one thing he was good at in his life was nutrition, and he was always extremely physically fit, strong as 3 oxes, and you could see it, So people would believe him when it came to nutritional stuff, and his whole life, he did walk that talk. Like he would, it's always less lecithin and freaking bee pollen and God knows what, and kelp and B1 612 hike, everything, and so my father was under the impression that you could solve any physical problem with supplements and diet and exercise, and he was probably right with most stuff, but when it came to people with conditions like this, he just wasn't interested. And it was just another example in a long line of really disgusting behavior that just made it impossible for me. And but I asked him, I said, for seizures, is there something? Because my friend also thought that the medicine that he was taking, the medication, was causing this to happen. That's what he thought. And I don't know if that's true or not. I have no idea. No clue. So I asked him what could he take or do or change, when he's, besides just being well rested or trying to not be stressed, like, is there something he could actually do that could lessen this stuff? And my dad's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what am I talking about? What are you talking about? Just what I said. Like, what the? And he goes, I'm like, I don't know what to take, or what are you talking about? He goes, you know why he's like this? And I'm like, oh shit, right, here we go. Because remember, we all knew things that we didn't apply. We knew things that we didn't believe. We knew things that we did. Like, it's just a weird wreck of a family when everyone's in Scientology. It's a wreck. Just like, remember I keep telling you guys, my mom's sick all the time, but none of us write her up, and none of us believe she's out ethics, even though we all know that has to be the case. So it's a weird dynamic, okay? But my father's like, get into present time, right? He would say that more often than Macho Man would say snap into a Slim Jim. He'd go get into present time. Like that's the answer to everything. Then you're not gonna be caught up with this guy. Okay? Because you know better. He's keeping himself, he made himself this way. He's keeping himself from hurting others. Do you want to find out why? And I'm just like, and I remember thinking, man, if this is right, I hate this world. If this is right, I hate this world. And so as I got to know him more, this was my chance to start doing what I could never do at the org. Okay. This because this place was squirrely and AF and no one really even knew anyone online. It's like I knew I could get away with whatever there. And so I was able to literally be how I wanted to be, the right way to be, okay, with him. That would have had me, I'd have been totally screwed doing this at the org, right? But I was so upset that people acted like he was disgusting. It just made me so upset. And so we would walk from one class to another, and then and this a couple times happened too over at our lockers, and once in the bathroom. But the point is, anytime he would have a seizure, I would just sit next to him until he's done. There's nothing you can do. But then now no one's doing that, ew and all that crap. They're just like, oh, is he okay? Like now all of a sudden it's a little different, okay? Because someone with some pull is hanging with him. And everything he said made sense, and I believed. Like, um, you know, he would be. He would be momentarily confused or befuddled after those attacks. And um, he grabbed me and just said he was afraid. And then when he would get his wits about him, he'd just say, "I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. This is why people hate me." And I'm just like, there's no way you can't feel for that. And, like, is that someone who did something before who deserved this? He's afraid and he's embarrassed. And that's why people hate him. And I knew that can't be. That like it can't be. It can't be. It can't be that he's doing this to so he can't hurt anybody. And so as at PE, I was a perma captain, right? And so another thing that pissed me off, right, was people always picking teams based trying to make their team better, who's going to win, right? Nothing matters less than PE in the entire world. Um, oh, thank you so much, James. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you, James. Uh, so anyway, I changed just doing this started a change at that school too, which was another in the honor students. There was a girl who had a crush on me who was like 300 pounds, right? And um, anyway, I didn't know about that at the time, but I would pick my boy first with the seizures, and then I'd pick her next. I picked literally the opposite way, like the people who couldn't do anything. It was worse than the Bad News Bears. Like we were, I looked at it like we're the Washington Generals, and we'd play basketball. Like who gives a shit, And so I could go to the hoop anytime I want and do anything and lay it off the board 3 points, right? In comparison to these people. So I would just, then toss it over to my boy and just we'd scream, shoot, right? It was so much fun. From right in front of the thing, it would go over the backboard and into the parking lot. I don't want to say her name, but my girl, she I don't think she played basketball for 3 minutes in her entire lifetime. I don't, okay? And we're like, shoot. And one of a guy on the other team, right? Because no one would try to block it. You shoot, and she goes, poof, and just literally throws the ball straight into the dude's face. I was just like, oh my God. Like, but it was hysterical. And we ended up having a great time at PE instead of everyone hating it. And it was just stupid and watching 3, 4 people, whatever. And then when people would ask me to come to their stupid parties, I would make sure these other people were invited or I ain't coming. And the truth is, they never came to any except once. And that made sense because, it didn't even go that well, frankly, because it was his first party and that's really nerve-wracking, etc. But yeah, it was like, you're going to treat these people, exactly as well as the most popular people, or I'm going to, make an example of you. So, it allowed me to overtly treat people the way I wanted to, naturally treat them, not the way I was being instructed to do, and not let that feeling take me. That was a war, because I knew doing things the way I was doing them would mean I couldn't possibly. How can I continue Scientology, right? I mean, the core beliefs I'm just not working with, He was exactly the same as I would have been or anyone else. So the idea that you're evil because you're missing a hand is just ridiculous, and it's like they've literally constructed a religion that allows them to ignore everyone who deserves support. It's just gross, Unless you have lots of spare cash, they don't want to know you. And these are things I wish more people knew, because it's really gross. It's disgusting. And it's, oh, by the way, it's just one more reason why, like I say, I don't understand people like John Travolta, Thank you, Marcy. They're going to tell John Travolta he can't be trusted, he's an irrational deviant, and that his son, thank you, Elston, and his son purposefully pulled that in, his condition, purposefully pulled that in. and you're still going to be a part of Scientology. That's just another, it gets to a point where there's just so many. I don't even know if I could hear Travolta if he started speaking about it because I'm just so done with him. It's just like, dude, I don't even, I'm, you know, I'm now irrationally out of sympathy for people like him. You know, what they trained me to feel like is only applying to them. How about that? You know? Um, but it also, like, that's when I knew I lost my dad too. 100%. Like, because that wasn't a father. He never was. But the fact that he could look at people like that and be comfortable was gross to me and really unnerving. And and that really helped me not want to be like that. You know. So it made it easier for the inevitable. Hi, Sue Irwin. Hello, Con. But uh, yeah. And then, like I've always been saying too, the people who I'm supposed to emulate, I don't like at all. So you see how all that shit was coming to a head, like where it's just like, does doing this stuff make you that way? Or does this just celebrate? Is this a way for those who are already super sick to celebrate other sick shit? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if Scientology made my dad even grosser, or if it showed him how to be grosser. You know what I mean? I don't know. Oh man. Hi SPD. Um, James Steele is narcissistic. Yeah. And when you get a bunch of people like my father together and they would all start like fueling each other's psychoses, like they could make fun. It was never anything positive. It would be like, it's always about taking from others, being negative. Like, yeah, those people, they got to come in, or blah, blah, ha, 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 they don't know such and such, or, you couldn't help them. They couldn't find the couch in the living room, two hands on a map, blah, blah, blah. And they would just justify and be snarky and happy about everyone on the planet eating shit and how they're killing it. You know, it's just the least religious place ever. I mean, I need to look up the definition of religion again or religious. Don't you have to help somebody? Like, don't you have to be helpful or something? Isn't there some kind of servitude? Or can you just get paid handsomely for whatever you do while you have disdain for everyone? I'm not sure. I gotta blow my schnoz. How do I mute this damn thing? Here we go. Hold on. There we go. Um, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Lisa. Scientology seems to enhance people's worst traits, actually encourages it. It really is disgusting. It's so gross. Um, oh, okay. Well, I mean, there was a JoJo that's that fat loser's friend, and we don't entertain those people in my channel. Um, but okay. Oh, Ribby. I'm sorry, bro. Hi, Joel McCoy. Um, yeah. So that really. Let me see what everyone's saying here. Let me catch up with you guys after my TED talk. Um, David, I don't do nothing. Sometimes I clean bongs. SPD, watching Eric is better than tea or coffee first thing in the morning. Oh, thank you so much. I want to give you a hug. Yeah, Farrell did had a great show last night. They were closed. The Winter Wonderland was closed, but they went over to Flag, pissed them off. Hashtag Sherrick AF. Good morning, Trent. James, when one door closes, another one opens. That's all well and good. I told the car dealer, but I'm not bullying the car dealer until you fix it. I mean, I'm not buying the car until you fix it, right? That's funny. Oh, Lord. uh, and one gold LeMay Elvis. Um, hey, girl, I just saw 3 flamingos, 2 Adidas, and 1 Darth Belly. I miss Darth Belly. Marsha, I love you. Be good. This is a good point here, too. Rennie says, being able doesn't mean you're sane or kind. It's not automatic. That's a great, here, here. Yeah, you can be able and completely psychotic. Oh my God, James. My late partner seizures could last 10 minutes. I can't even believe that's wow. Whew. My God, that must have been exhausting. Yeah, and and it's also one of those like just such a horrific condition because it makes it like really hard to sleep, but lack of sleep causes seizures, you know. You know what I mean? Like it's one of them catch 22 deals everywhere you turn. Like you're stressed as hell about having that happen and stress causes it. It's just it's, you know. And then like he thought this whole handful of medication he took every morning, he thought that was doing it. So, you know, who knows? Um, Oh my God, James. Hugs to you, my friend. Yeah, yeah. Hi, Suzanne Bruce. Good morning. What is a gobshite? Like my biggest weakness is being a gobshite. I don't know what that means. Cinderelli, good morning. Oh, Marcy, I saw my oldest son defend a kid from a bully on the playground. Felt so proud. That's so awesome. All right, kudos to your son. Yeah, it was so healthy for me because it was the first time I was able to just totally act on that, you know? And and you know the way that I knew, like, and my sister and dad, we all knew my mom wasn't out ethics and that was BS, okay, when she's sick all the time. Um, I also knew, and we never had that discussion, but I also knew my mom thought the no sympathy thing was some BS too, you know, because she's a nurse, you know, and she just she couldn't get herself to think that way, you know. Like she bought into a whole lot of the crap, you know, trying not to be dramatic, you know, and that's why she'd be stone faced when I really needed a hug or some guidance or to know it's okay, and she would just give me nothing because she thought that was the right thing to do, okay. But the you know, my mom never was like, "Wow, you were awful last lifetime," you know, while she's holding your brain in your head or whatever the hell, you know. None of that crap. Uh, Thank you, A girl. Eric is an amazing man, was a wonderful young man, and Scientology cannot steal that. Eric outsmarted the cult, in my opinion. Like I said, I just got lucky. I wasn't even that smart. There was just I had a couple serious issues that I couldn't overcome, and they added up. You know, they all added up. Um, and it's another weird thing too. When you're on course more than full time, okay, I mean from the morning until night, and you're young, it's like your entire world, every second of it is Scientology, right? If you're only on course 2.5 hours a night and you're 44 and you've been around and done a million things, it's so much less of a piece of your life. You know what I mean? And so I felt things so much harder than I would have had I been an adult. And in some places that would hurt me and that would devastate. But in some other areas, I think it sort of served to protect me because I just couldn't get my head around stuff. I'd be like, what? And then I'm like, what's the point of us even getting well so we can laugh at everyone who isn't? You know? That used to really tick me off. Like, why are we even trying to get well? We're not trying to share it with anybody unless you got a whole bunch of money. We won't give anyone water, soup, anything. We'll just give them the middle finger, tell them to get bent. And you see it even today. What's the first thing a Scientologist will tell you? I'll call the cops, you know. They don't even want to know what's wrong with you. They don't care. Rennie, a dear friend, had Rasmussen's encephalitis as a 7-year-old and dealt with seizures all his life. It was so debilitating, but he lived as best he could. Thank you, SPD. Eric is the real deal, no fakery under the hood. Thank you, baby. Thank you, Suzanne. Ribby says the minute something like that would happen, the entire area would go completely silent in order to not implement engrams. Engrams. Yeah, it was so ridiculous, man. So ridiculous. Uh, yeah, Rennie. Eric, that was so wrong of those around him. Your compassion was an anchor for him. Love you, SBD. Thank you, guys. Yeah. This was these. It's like the programming couldn't break through because I was just too black and white in some areas. It just couldn't break through, and for that I'm grateful because um, I can't even imagine even being here if I allowed myself to go down that path because I would have hated every minute of it. So I can't even imagine that you could survive like that, you know. Marcy says, I've got a dad I didn't want to be like. I got it. Wow. Yeah. Randy says, as a never in, I struggle to wrap my head around the lack of compassion, empathy, and sympathy that Scientology programs out of its cult members or tries to. Yeah. And it's really the only way you can make a cult, a high control group work. That's like I said, there's nothing accidental about Scientology. It's done in a way that works. PBG. I wonder where that kind of empathy came from. Who did you learn inclusion or equality from? Amazing that you were the kind, loving, loyal, etc. that you are. Love you, bro. Thank you so much, PBG. But that's my point. I think it's in everybody until you stop listening. Make yourself like I can understand being horrible, like my mom. Okay, like trying to be good, she could end up being bad. You see what I'm saying? You know, but you were trying to be good. Um, I couldn't figure out how to believe the things I'm supposed to believe and still operate. I just, it's almost just happenstance. It's just like happenstance. Like, I don't know why, some things didn't take, but I just knew they were wrong. Hi, Vicky. Good morning. Yeah, I think you're thinking about a different JoJo actually, because the JoJo Bananas I know is a scumbag. So, a the smelly loser scumbag fan of the smelly loser. So, um, there's a JoJo something else that's a good person, but the Bananas is a piece of crap. That's the way I see it. So if someone proves me wrong, great. But that's the way I got it figured. Um, A girl, it's Eric and Cheryl and their huge hearts prove Scientology flunked. Thank you, A girl. Rennie, chosen family versus born family because life sucks without real connection. James, A girl, you are not just a girl, you are the girl. That's awesome. Oh, Phoenix Book Girl. Hey girl, Feral Cheryl on the loose. Every now and then I feel the need to tell your old man how great he is, despite COS, because he is. Just stating facts. Wanted to stop, make me. Oh, that's so cute. Feral, Phoenix Book Girl, don't stop. He deserves all the love and support he can get. Don't stop. Oh, I wish I could throw hugs all over the place. Um, David, logic this for me. You're teaching me how to save the world, but it's a secret. So powerful. If you share it with people, they will fall over. Right? James, Eric, it's a cruel, unjust world. Scientology just ran with that alone. Yeah. Oh, Suzanne, thank you so much. Oh my God, you guys are so sweet. Suzanne, definition of religious is vague and multi-interpreted. Oh wow. Okay. I always, for some reason, thought that like part of the definition would be that you would be there to serve people who probably don't have anything and are desperately in need of help. Like, how many people are in desperate need of help who also have all the money and friends and power in the world? Like, that doesn't even make sense, right? Um, Ribby, I am completely able to be completely psychotic. That's hysterical. That's funny. SPD, Feral plus Raider equates a force to be reckoned with. Damn straight. Thank you. James, I ran out of poker chips, so used dry fruits for playing instead. People went nuts when they saw me raising the stakes. Oh, woof. Brutal. Joel McCoy, positive energy is always the best way. If you look for good, you will find it and you will have a better life. Give it a try. I think you will find kindness is the way, in my opinion. Thank you so much, James. I mean, Joel, I'm sorry. And thank you, James, again. Um, Janet from another planet, good morning if I didn't say good morning. Yeah, threatening people with challenges, Suzanne. Isn't that incredible? A girl says, the more ugly life pumps out, the more love we can pump out. I will never give in or stop crying or stop caring. Good. Um, David says, trying to undo my own programming. If I find anything good, I will share it with you. Hey, Buttercup. Good morning. Oh, yeah. Yeah. James says, hey, girl, I know that Eric includes you in the equation of this. Eric would not still be here doing this were it not for your support. Absolutely. A girl has been the most tremendous friend I could ever hope to have. So, uh, incredible. Incredible direction, support, caring. She's unbelievable. So, if there was just an hour of hearts that went by, it wouldn't be 1/10 what she deserves, quite frankly. But it's all of us together that makes this so beautiful, and why I'm really proud to be a part of it. You know, it's also why I don't even title these episodes. If you want to know thoughts of a child auditor of what all this stuff, what I think, then tune in. And if you don't, that's cool too. Um, oh my gosh, you guys are just way too nice. Thank you. I can't even read some of these. They're too nice. I'm not good at that. Joel says, I knew a man who was full of hate and negative energy. He died alone and angry. I promised myself to not be that. Never regret being positive and filled with hope. Yeah, that's a beautiful. Joel always has wonderful things to share with us, and we would do well to heed those. But yeah, that's uh, it's like um, you know, being an auditor made it easier for me to dislike and disagree with a lot of Scientology. If I was just receiving auditing and didn't wasn't on the training side of the bridge, some of these things wouldn't have hit me the way they did. Um, you know, um, like in auditing, anyone who's born disabled would be required to tell you, you know, to take responsibility for all the evil and all the destruction they caused in a previous life. You know, um, uh, And that's why they chose to be disabled this time. You can't be a part of that process and not feel like it's 100% nonsense. You can't. Maybe you can. I can't. I don't even. But again, what is Scientology great at? They're great at making sure people don't know you're hurting, okay, and that you're in desperate straits. Um, yeah. David, what a giant pile of horse poop that nonsense is. uh, Seems like Suzanne says, seems like there's a certain level or age where it really switches and you become aware. Um, I don't even know if it would have mattered if I was 12, 13, 14, 15. Exactly what, like, I just hit wall after wall of things that I just couldn't even conceive how they could be true. And like I said, you're wanting things to be true so that you can go help people. But the more you understand what they want you to do and how they want you to be, the more impossible it seems that you're going to be helping anyone. And why is it that whenever I try to get help for somebody, I get stonewalled? Or I'm told the person's PTS or a piece of shit, right? So I'm like, when do we get to helping anybody? We only help people that have, driving XJ12s. Like what? Um, Joel says, Eric, you have not let the past define you. Your true spirit came out. I, for one, am proud of you and the man you are. Thank you so much, Joel. Hey, girl, Sharon and Cheryl and Eric. I just see our names and I say Sherrick no matter what now. Sherrick have kept their humor, humanity, empathy, sympathy, strength, and love, and we all see it. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. um, uh, it was a completely fugazi. Oh, thank you so much, Phoenix Book Girl. 8 months. Wow. Keep on keeping on. Wow, 8 months of laughter and tears. Thank you so much. Um, Bilster, did your classmate with them also have Scientologist parents? I don't understand how that school even worked. I really don't, because it was a kindergarten through 12th grade, right? And I think it was like something else before it turned into what it did. And a lot of people were already in it. And since they already had friends in it from since they were second grade or whatever, they just kept going. And there was nothing Scientological about the school. I mean, nothing, except for they gave you chits, right? And if you got three chits, you got the boot. Um, I handled that shit though, because I went right into their office and went to the cubby hole where my chit was going to the whoever the hell principal or whatever, and just took it out. I had like 12 of those sons of bitches before anyone knew what happened. But yeah, they didn't want to kick you out anyway. I mean, it was $300 a month back in 1981 or whatever. I mean, that was ridiculous money back then. Um, but to answer your question, Bilster, no, there was a ton of kids there. 90% of them knew nothing about Scientology. Nothing. Um, oh, don't worry about it, Joel. Joel says he's still trying to figure out how to work all the stuff on the new car for sure. I never read the manual. Just start pushing stuff, baby. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. All right, guys, I'll let you go. Thank you for letting me share that with you. That was a very very defining time in my life, and thankfully, uh, the tactics that I found incredibly unappealing and disgusting, um, you know, really helped me um, realize that it just can't be, or made it impossible for me to even root anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm like, I don't even want to end up how you end up if this works. Um, I don't want to be that person, you know? Uh, and for those that wonder, like, how can you, you know, be all about BS every moment of your life when you're growing up in a Scientology family? It's all self-preservation. Like, you're not thinking about it beforehand. You're just immediately knee-jerk snapping to the way you're supposed to. You know, like if you took a family out of North Korea, they're not. They know what to do. You know, you look at the picture of Fart Knocker and say thank you for this food or whatever you're supposed to do because the walls have eyes and everyone's listening. You know, it's not because you believe what you're saying. You know, leader guy. No, you're just saying that so you don't lose what little you have left. You know, so. Um, Rennie, we do have a choice of how we want to be. Absolutely. Um, yeah. So love you guys very much. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I'll see you soon. Until next time.